Mental toughness. Mental toughness is a personality trait that allows one to perform consistently under pressure and stress. And mental toughness, like all other personality traits, can be learned and developed. My high school basketball coach preached to us the importance of mental toughness, and he said everything is mental. Now, he might have just been referring to basketball, but this actually refers to all areas of life. Everything in life is mental, and if you aren't mentally strong, almost nothing else you do will matter. In this video, I want to share with you 5 things I learned from my basketball coach about mental toughness. After a morning conditioning workout, my basketball coach told us how when our mind is telling us to quit, we're only really 40% of what we can do. And this is true not just for conditioning, but for all areas of work, such as reading and studying, etc. Whatever work you're doing, your mind will often quit before your body has to quit. So when you're about at 40% of what you can do, your mind will have thoughts of quitting. You need to rest, you're tired, you need to stop working. And by sitting and meditating on those thoughts, you will actually want to quit. You actually want to stop working. I love what Kobe Bryant said one time. He said, you always want to outwork your potential. As hard as you believe you can work harder than that. Notice how Kobe pointed to our beliefs, saying we can work harder than what our beliefs say, but it all comes down to being mentally tough. Your beliefs and thoughts produce your feelings produce your actions, and your actions produce your results. So when your brain is telling you, hey, having thoughts of, hey, you need to quit, you need to stop working, you can't go harder, and you must know, hey, I'm only 40% of the way there. And you must be mentally tough enough not to sit on those thoughts. Because if you sit on those thoughts, you start feeling tired, even if you're not. And when you feel tired, you want to give up because your feelings produce your actions. So you must be mentally tough enough to switch up those thoughts and change those thoughts and to not sit on weak thoughts. Let me give you an example. During summer workouts, one summer, my coach made us do a plank. Now, a plank is a full body exercise where you hold a position, and eventually when you hold it long enough, it will start to hurt real bad, right? So my coach told us how when you're feeling the pain of the plank, change your thoughts. Tell yourself, hey, this feels good, or hey, I like this pain. And by doing that, you start to feel less pain because your thoughts and beliefs produce your feelings. Now, eventually your body will override your will, right? I want to stay in this plank, but it just hurts real bad. But by having better thoughts, you're able to more so push past the 40% of what you can do when your mind is telling you to give up. And like Kobe said, by doing this, you will outwork your potential. Now, we had another morning conditioning workout, and you ask any of my teammates, it's not the most fun thing in the world. But one thing my coach said was, hey, the running doesn't get easier. What gets better is your recovery time. In other words, the work you put in life, it doesn't get easier. The job you're doing, the studying, the working out, that work stays the same. It's always going to be hard. However, if you do it consistently enough, you'll get better. But you have to have the mental toughness to put in the work, even though it's hard. And when you do that, the work, it stays the same, but it will become easier because you are better. Let me give you a pretty bad example, but it helped me to prove my point. When you're a freshman, you can't do the assignments and exams that seniors do, right? They're too high of a level. But when you put in work as a freshman, when you put in work as a sophomore, then you put in work as a junior, by the time you're a senior, you're able to do the assignments and exams that seniors do. Not because those assignments and exams got easier, but because you got better since you were putting in work. The Bible says in Proverbs 14:23, in all labor there's profit. And Myron Golden said when commentating on this verse, he said, the work, as in the labor we do that brings a profit, when it is slow, rocky, and challenging, it is still working. That work is working on me. It is helping me to become the person who can do the thing. See, the problem with most people is that they quit way too fast. After that 40%, where their mind is telling them, hey, give up, you gotta quit, this is not enjoyable, this is not fun, they quit because the work is hard. See, the work is always hard, but you have to get better. You have to have the mental toughness to work long enough on something so that the work you're doing can work on you. Going back to what my coach said, how the running doesn't get easier, what gets better is your recovery time. See, if you run for 10 seconds and then your mind is telling you, hey, slow down, you gotta quit, you gotta stop, in all labor there's profit. So you got better just because you ran for 10 seconds. You lost some calories, you got more in shape because you ran for 10 seconds. However, that's not long enough for the work you did to work on you. But if you run for 10 seconds, you say, no, I'm gonna push past this pain, then you run for 20 seconds, and 30 seconds, and 40 seconds. What you did is you allowed the work you're doing to work on you. See, it's working on you by getting you better. It's getting your recovery time better. But if you just stop and you quit after that 40%, the work you did isn't working on you, so you didn't get better. But by pushing past the pain, having the mental toughness, say, hey, this is hard, but I'm still going to do it. You letting the work you're doing, the work on you, so that you can get better. So now, the next time you do it, it is easier. Not because the work you did is easier, but because you got better, which makes the work easier. So you have to have the mental toughness to first start doing the thing you're doing, but second, to push past the pain so that the work you're doing can work on you, so that you can get better. The third thing I learned from my coach about mental toughness was that you must be mentally tough enough to prepare for your work before you begin your task. Kobe Bryant said once in an interview that confidence comes from preparation. And if you saw my video about confidence from last week, you understand how important our mental preparation is for our confidence. That if you're not mentally prepared for a task, you will not be confident, no matter how much physical preparation you are putting in. For us as a basketball team, this meant two words. It was to lock in. My coach talked about how, hey, the game doesn't start at tip-off, but it starts an hour before tip-off, as in you got to get locked in an hour before the game. So that can mean, hey, I'm not going on my phone, I'm not going to text people, or that can mean, I'm going to get some shots up, or I'm going to warm up my body, or, I can watch some film. I'm just going to focus my mind on the task at hand, even before the task starts. Being mentally prepared, mentally locked in. See, that year, with my junior year, that year with my coach teaching me stuff, that was the best team I've ever been on, right? We had an amazing team, but we would always get off the slow starts because we weren't mentally locked in. Like for us, the preparation for the game started at tip-off, when the game started. So while the other team is warming up and they're locked in, we weren't locked in. We were lackadaisical. We're just playing around. And then when tip-off went off, we were like, okay, let's get locked in now. But because we started so late to get locked in, mentally locked in, we were mentally tough enough to prepare an hour before. We always started off slow in our games, and we had to get back into the game. Because we're always at a deficit because we weren't locked in. And my coach talked about how, hey, those who are more prepared mentally often get off the better starts in the game. And that's what was the case on the opposing side for us, right? So just being mentally tough enough to lock in for the task before you start, that takes mental toughness. The fourth and fifth thing I learned from my coach about mental toughness was to not get so caught up in your mistakes and to have a next play mentality. See, basketball is a very imperfect sport. Like 50% of the time, someone misses a shot, or someone doesn't get back on defense, or there's no help, and someone always makes a mistake every single play. So my coach is like, I know mistakes are going to happen, but don't let one mistake lead to another and lead to another. And you do that by not getting caught up in your past mistakes, but you do that by having next play mentality. So if you turn the ball over, go get it back on defense. You miss a shot, go get a rebound. Just having a next play mentality, and that'll help you not to get caught up in your mistakes, which leads to another mistake, which leads to another. But that takes mental toughness, right? Because if I shoot a shot, let's say an air ball, which never happens, but it doesn't happen. But if I airball a shot, right, I become embarrassed, and I get very self-centered. I'm like, man, I missed that shot, and it's all becoming about me. And I want to get that back. I want to show I'm not that bad. And then what happens with my team is that someone takes a bad shot and everyone becomes self-centered. And they're like, man, you took a bad shot. Now it's my turn. I need to get a shot. Or if it's been forward plays, you haven't touched the ball, got a shot. You're like, okay, I got to get mine. So you go on offense, you just iso and try to score. That's one mistake leading to another. That's a lack of mental toughness. But when you're about the team, you're saying, hey, it's a next play mentality. And you're saying like, I didn't get the shot, I didn't get the ball in this play, but I know there's another play coming, right? So just having a next play mentality, which obviously it takes a lot of mental toughness to make it less about you and more about the team, more about others. But you got to have that mental toughness to say, I know it's not about me, it's about the team. It's not about my success and my thing. It's about the team. It's about us winning as a team. And that's one thing that my team that year didn't do as great a job with. We were very caught up in our mistakes. We made a mistake, then you become very self-centered. It's like sometimes it's like, I made a mistake. I'm not gonna try anymore. Right? I already messed up. There's no need to try anymore. Just having the next play mentality, but we didn't have that to the point, right? So, but this is the first of 10 videos I want to do about what I learned from my high school basketball coach. I actually only was coached by him for 1 year on varsity, and that was my junior year. And like I said, that team was the best team I've ever been on. We had a fantastic team, and you'll probably hear more about it in the coming videos. But if you like this video, make sure to like this video about mental toughness. First thing I learned from my coach about mental toughness is when your mind is telling you to quit, you're only about 40% of what you can do. So you got to change your thoughts because your thoughts produce your feelings. So if you're running and your mind is telling you, hey, you're tired, you're not enjoying this, it's not fun, you got to stop. You tell yourself, hey, oh no, I like this is fun to me, I can keep going. And by having those thoughts producing your feelings. So saying, yo, I'm not tired, you're actually feeling less tired. And because you feel less tired, you'll keep going by not meditating on bad thoughts. So that's the first thing. Don't meditate on bad thoughts. Instead, have the mental toughness to change your thoughts so you can perform better, because your thoughts produce your feelings, your actions, your results. The second thing I learned from my coach about mental toughness was you got to be mentally tough enough to put in work even though it's hard, and you got to put in work long enough for the work to work on you. He talked about how, hey, the running doesn't get easier, but what gets better is your recovery time, right? So the work you put in, the work you have to do, it's not easy. It doesn't get easier, but you get better, right? So you got to keep on working, and you got to make sure to work long enough for the work to work on you. If you only run for 10 seconds, you're getting better, but that's not long enough for the work to work on you. That's not long enough to increase your recovery time. However, if you keep on running even though you're tired and you run long enough, the work will eventually work on you and you will get better. Your recovery time will increase. The third thing I learned about mental toughness from my coaches, you gotta be mentally tough enough to prepare even before a task starts. A task doesn't start when it starts, but it starts an hour before. Be mentally prepared enough to prepare yourself, because those who are more mentally prepared will perform better. They'll get off to a better start. The fourth and fifth thing I learned from my coach about mental toughness is don't get caught up in your mistakes. You make a mistake, don't let it lead to another, which leads to another. But fifth, you got to have a next play mentality. You got to say, yo, I'm going to get back on defense. I'm going to get this thing back, and have a next play mentality. Don't get caught up in your mistakes, which takes mental toughness. Those are 5 things I learned from my coach about mental toughness. If you like this video, man. And I want to send this to you, coach. I hope you like this. I haven't seen you in like 2 years, but hope you enjoy this video series that I'm doing. You taught me a lot, and I know a lot of people on the team, and you just disregarded what you taught them at the end of practices. Sometimes you talk to us for 30 minutes to an hour at the practice, but I wrote it down, and I have it on docs where I put in the description for anyone that comments to enjoy if they have watched this video this far, which they have. That's amazing. But I'll put in the description all these videos, and I hope you enjoy it and keep on doing what you're doing. And thank you from Alston, I guess.